Hello, and tonight I'd like to talk to you about separation between church and state. Now, when we discuss this issue, you need to first recognize where the phrase comes from. Nowhere in the Constitution is it listed. It came from a letter from the Baptist organization who is concerned about another segment of Christianity gaining power in the state government and in the federal government, and they were concerned that Jefferson would act as a advocate to one religion or another. That's where the line comes from. It's not actually part of our Constitution at all. Now, as an artificial construct, why was it created in the first place? Religious freedom, when they said they didn't want any state religion, they meant like England has, the Anglican Church, or had. They wanted a state in which numerous religions could exist without one being the religion of the state. Now, having said that, the big concern really wasn't religion's influence on the state. That's where the separation of church and staters have it reversed. It was the concern of the state's influence on religion. It was to be meant to protect religion, not to protect the state. Now, where's the issue with the separation of church and staters? What do they get wrong? Truthfully speaking, some degree of separation of church and state is welcomed by everybody in the United States. I have yet to see a conservative who have said we're going to have to make the Baptist Church or the Lutheran Church or the Catholic Church the state religion. No, I have not really heard any of those voices at all. And if they are out there, they're so minor that you're never going to even notice them, even in a poll. But having the state interact with religion is not the same as state endorsing a religion. And that's where the confusion takes place. A lot of the atheists and non-Christian religions love the separation of church and state because it is essentially silencing the Christians. They want the Christians to stay out of politics. They want the Christians and the moral majority and whatnot to get out of our political world and have everything based on non-Christian beliefs. Well, the problem is you can't separate, first off, you can't separate the politician from their beliefs. If they truly are Christian, they'll carry their beliefs with them. And there's a great deal of diversity amongst the Christian faith, so that's not a big problem. Secondly, as for Christian symbols being on public land, why not? You know, they're part of the citizenship. They're allowed to be on public land. If a community of Christians lose a large numbers of their people in a war, why shouldn't they have a right to build a monument to them and have that monument carry the symbols of their faith? If you also look at the same burial grounds, the military allows all sorts of symbols, including Wiccans and pagans and atheists and humanists and Muslims and Jews. The symbols are on numerous crosses. In fact, you can find non-cross gravesite markers. So to say that, gosh, Christianity is being pushed on people because there's a big Christian cross in the side of the graveyard, no, all that means is that the majority of the people buried there are Christian. And they're not about to convert anytime soon to any other faith because they're kind of not with us anymore to convert. So, the issue I really have ultimately with the separation of church and staters is it is actually not the intent. Their lie is that they're about separation of church and state. And it's a lie because they never sued Jewish symbols off of public land. The national menorah is never sued off of public land. Jewish rituals in school are mentioned. My daughter in kindergarten had to learn Jewish customs and images and draw pictures of Jewish symbols in kindergarten in Maryland, Montgomery County. Okay, and that was not a bother. You know, they don't worry about a Muslim class in California that requires people to be Muslim in a public school for a month. So it's only Christianity they seem to target, and there's a reason why. They target it because it opposes them politically. It's not it's a lie. It's a lie that they're really about separate church and state. Their intention is to silence a specific religion and purge it from the view because it gets in the way of their political goals. They recognize the majority of Christians are actually very religious and very active. And that's what bothers them, because the very religious Christians tend to be more conservative. The more passive Christians, the ones who are just Christian and they occasionally go to church, tend to be a lot more liberal. So the separationists and staters work in tandem with groups like the homosexual movement, who have their biggest opponents are the religious conservative base, to silence the Christians in hopes that somehow if they make Christians ashamed of being Christian to the point that they hide like they do in Europe, then they can forward all the political ideas and goals that they want, and they can all title this under the title of separation of church and state. It's all a lie. It's all smoke and mirrors. Thank you very much, and have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.